All right, hey everyone, what's up? Jammer here from Jammer's Wrestling Magazine Collection, and man, tonight has been a hectic night already. The Hydra was out for like 3 hours due to this like weird storm. It may have been a tornado, I really don't know. And the Hydra finally came back on, and then it's still raining. It's hitting the windows. I don't know if it's going to pick up on this, but I wanted to do this video tonight. I told you guys something big for today. And it took me like almost an hour to get the magazines ready for this because I'm going to do a video on Bret Hitman Hart, his magazine covers today. And just him, not the Hart Foundation with Bret and Jim from, 85 through 91. I'm just doing Bret on his own. And this is, of course, the Pro Wrestling Illustrated March 1992 edition, the 1991 year in wrestling. The Hitman did make the cover. This is Bret Hart's first singles cover that I know of. For a wrestling magazine. So Bret made that one right there. Let me see if I can get that a little better. There we go. All right, let me move this up a bit now. So, with Bret now, the next one I have of him in order is Sports Review Wrestling from April 91. I've talked about this before. This isn't even from 1991. This photo is from 1987 when he was tag champions with Jim Neidhart. They were villains, they were heels, bad guys. But somehow they found this photo. They said this will be used. And of course it says the foundation of a champion, how young Bret Hart grew into the Hitman. I mean, okay, I guess that makes sense. He was young here, but I figured they could have found maybe a better picture, maybe a more up-to-date for 1991. For January 1992, Inside Wrestling, the main feature is Sting, but at the top there we got Intercontinental Champion Bret Hart, the men out to hit the Hitman. So right there, Bret Hart getting noticed at the top there, just in a small photo, of course. But that would change here in the February 92 Inside Wrestling because we have Championship Frustration, how the WWF is breaking Bret's heart. So the Hitman right there, I don't really know what frustration that would have been. He would have been Intercontinental Champion, still feuding with the likes of Shawn Michaels and such. For Inside Wrestling, April 92. This is a nice one with Bret on the cover. From Hitman to the Man, Bret Hart is the WWF's only true champion. And there he is holding an award that he won. He's got the Intercontinental title still around his waist there. Man, Bret was ready, right? He was ready to take on the world. Little did we know it was going to happen in a few short months. Of course, to get to that point, you have to get through Inside Wrestling here in October 92 at SummerSlam 92. Bret Hitman Hart and the British Bulldog for the Intercontinental title. That was a hell of a match. It went like 20 minutes. Bulldog got the win and celebrated with his home people in England, but little did Bulldog even know that Bret was going to be the one celebrating in 2 months in front of his people in Canada. For Wrestle America, October 92, again, SummerSlam coverage, hype. There's the Hitman right there, over top of the Undertaker and the Legion of Doom. It's everything about SummerSlam in Wrestle America here. For the November 1992 Pro Wrestling Illustrated, we see Bulldog hounding the Hitman, and we see the match here, the British Bulldog versus Bret Hart. That match right there is from, I believe it was in June of 1992. They wrestled each other at like a TV taping to see how they would do if Vince decided to put SummerSlam in England. He was either going to have it in England or, I want to say, Washington. And if it was Washington, it was going to be Bret and Shawn in the ladder match of the Intercontinental title because they had just done that match too to show Vince what it looked like. So he ended up doing with the England thing, and the British Bulldog ended up beating Bret, of course, that night. Spotlight now for the WWF. Well, hold on. Before I get to that, I should get to this first. Inside Wrestling, January 1993. It's the coverage of SummerSlam right there of Bret and Bulldog. So it's showing that Bret did lose the title to Davey. But this is it right here. Spotlight, Bret Hart Everyman's champion, the Hitman, defeated Ric Flair in October in Saskatchewan, I believe it was. I know it was Saskatchewan, either Saskatoon or Regina. I know it was one of those places. But the Hitman won the title there. I think it was like October 8th, maybe October 4th or October 8th, something like that, in that area. Of course, the match is seen on, I think it was Smack'em Whack'em Coliseum video. You can see Bret defeating Ric Flair for the championship. For February 93, we got Razor Ramon on the cover talking about how he's going to destroy Macho, Undertaker, and Bret. But that didn't happen, did it? We found that out at the Royal Rumble 1993 when the Hitman defeated Razor Ramon. Here we go, the wrestler for February 93. WWF champion Bret Hart, his 5 most dangerous challenges. The Undertaker, Davey Boy Smith, Razor Ramon, Terry Taylor, and Ric Flair. Terry Taylor, I talked about this before when I did the 1993 year. Terry Taylor, terrific Terry Taylor. The guy just came back to the WWF. I don't think he did anything. I don't remember him doing anything. Actually, come to think of it, now that I'm thinking about this, I'm watching WWF Superstars. I believe I'm in June of 93, and I don't even remember seeing Terry Taylor appear on that show. But I'm pretty sure he was in the Royal Rumble that year. But yeah, Terry Taylor. Okay. Inside Wrestling, February 93, we've got our holiday wish list. We got the Hitman down there as a Christmas bulb on the tree. So he made the cover again. Bret being the main event guy right now, the main guy in the WWF, the champ. The wrestler, March 93, we got the Hitman down here in the bottom right. Hart, what's it say here? Hart pumps new life into WWF. And how fitting, because Hart was the new generation, right? I always said that. Bret Hart was the reason why the new generation started, and it was why it was ended when he left at Survivor Series. Inside Wrestling, March 93, who controls the balance of power in the WWF? There's the Hitman right there above Mr. Perfect and beside Randy Savage. So he made the cut again. He's Inside Wrestling, he seems to be making the cover a lot here. Wrestling Superstars, March 93. We got Superstar Dream Match between world champions Ron Simmons and Bret Hitman Hart. Of course, Ron was WCW champion, Bret WWF champion. They were only champion at the same time from October through December, because I think it was early January, like January 3rd or 4th, that Ron lost the title to Big Van Vader. It may have even been, no, it had to have been then, because Starrcade was late December. Starrcade was, I think, December 28th, so it had to have been early January. The wrestler for April 93. What's in, what's out? The wrestler's official list tells you, and there it says, in, Bret Hart, out, Hulk Hogan. Unfortunately, Vince McMahon didn't realize that, and we would find that out at WrestleMania 9 in one of the most horrific moments in WWF history, having Bret lose only for Hogan to win. For PWI, May 93, WrestleMania without Hulk Hogan. Yeah, there it is. Bret Hart and Yokozuna right there. Kind of like they already know that this will be the match at WrestleMania for the title. It's like the PWI already had a feeling that's the direction that they were gonna go. Inside Wrestling for May of 93, and there it is, exclusive WrestleMania 9 match analysis, Bret Hart versus Yokozuna. So that was getting the hype now. It seemed like everyone knew it. I'm 100% sure Yokozuna had won the Royal Rumble by the time this magazine came out. So the wrestler for, June 93. Hulk Hogan, I could beat Bret Hart with my eyes closed. Wow. Pretty brave of you to say that, Hulkster, even though you didn't want to work with Bret at SummerSlam. Oh, of course, this is also the magazine. I just want to bring this up. Also the magazine that talks about Kerry Von Erich committing suicide. That was such a horrible situation, too, there. Let's see. June 93 for the WWF magazine. Here it is. Hulk Hogan wins the gold in WrestleMania. Shocker. Hulkamania rules for the 5th time. Bret Hart, belt holder 175 days. Yokozuna belt holder 128 seconds. Man, no one wanted this. No one wanted the Hulkster as champ. Even me, I was 12 years old at the time, and I was ready for Bret to be the man in the WWF. I think everyone was. For July 93 for the WWF magazine, Hogan versus Hart. Should these men battle to answer the question who really won the belt at WrestleMania 9? Of course, I said in the 1993 video I did, SummerSlam 93 was supposed to be Hogan and Bret. It looks like they're hyping it here. Hogan, of course, bailed on that. Didn't want to do it. Ended up losing the belt to Yoko at King of the Ring instead. And that was it. Hogan was like, I'm done. What a politician Hogan was when it came to wrestling, eh? Inside Wrestling July 93. We got Davey Boy Smith on the cover. He's in WCW now, going after Big Van Vader. Of course, says here, could Bret Hart be next? Showing that, Bulldog beat Bret at SummerSlam 92. Everyone remembered it. WCW kind of hinted at it, that Bulldog had a big win, big championship win in the summer, coming in hot, going after Vader. So, yeah, there's that. August 93 for PWI. It's the Supercards one. WrestleMania 9, the real winners and losers. Of course, shows Mr. Fuji there throwing salt in Bret Hart's eyes. Bret did get Yokozuna in the sharpshooter. He did have him in it. So you can't say he didn't. Bret could get Yoko in it. And Yoko should have submitted, right? Damn that Mr. Fuji. The WWF magazine for August 93. Bret Hart. Could he beat Hulk? There it is again, talking about it. Is he going to beat the Hulkster? Is the match going to happen? They're still hyping it. It didn't happen, unfortunately. There he is with the sharpshooter on Papa Shango. That match may be from WWF Superstars or it could be from Saturday Night's Main Event in October. Bret wrestled Shango twice on TV. I do know that I've seen. Wrestling Superstars, August 93. It's an exclusive in-depth analysis of the sport's 20 top stars. There's Bret giving the narcissist Lex Luger a backbreaker coming up there. So Bret still making the covers here of the magazines, even without the championship. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, October 93. It's the mid-year report for the WWF, and wrestler of the half year is Bret Hitman Hart right there in the left corner. So the Hitman, even though no longer champion, still wrestler of the half year, in the fans' eyes at least. November 93 for the wrestler. It's Bret Hart versus Lex Luger. It's not over yet. Lex, of course, a babyface now, a good guy. He just became made in the USA, slamming Yokozuna, gunning for that title at SummerSlam. But the history here, Lex Luger just got done wrestling Bret Hart like on a house show like that weekend before doing that. So were we going to see these two wrestle again? Unfortunately, we did not. What I'm going to do here is move that over a bit there. Okay, December 93 for PWI's PWI 500. Bret Hart there in the top left corner. Above Lex Luger, beside Yokozuna. How fitting, because WrestleMania 10 is soon approaching. But yeah, there it is. The Hitman right there in the PWI 500. For 1994, January, Inside Wrestling, we get Bret Hart on the cover here. It's Hart humbles Lawler. This would be SummerSlam right there, right? So we get Yoko and Lex the title, and we get Bret Hart and Jerry the King Lawler in a match. So even with that, Bret was still making it work, making the fans invested into it, doing well with that. For February 94, Inside Wrestling, it's our holiday wish list. We got the Hitman on the cover again here, right across from the Hulkster. But yeah, Bret's still making the covers even without the title, so he's still over big time with the fans and with the magazines here, right, to keep putting him on the cover. For March 94, Inside Wrestling predicts what's in store for 94. Bret, a move to WCW. Well, no, that wouldn't happen until 1997, but there he is against Bam Bam Bigelow. And they had some great matches. The King of the Ring match especially, right? That finals. Incredible. Spring of 94 for Wrestle America. Who's better? Does Owen have more heart than Bret? That Owen Hart photo looks like it's from 1991 when he was in WCW for that brief moment. And there's the Hitman there. It looks like they're gunning up that match here now on the magazines between Bret and Owen. For the WWF magazine for March 94, we get at the top here, The Undertaker's the main feature. At the top, we got Bret Hart. It says Bret Hart, how he would fight Owen and win. So there we go. The Bret Owen stuff is happening now in the magazines for the WWF. Special magazine here, the history of WrestleMania 1 through 9. We get the Hitman on the cover underneath Yokozuna here. We got Luger, Taker, and Savage, of course, as well, because these were the big draws in this time frame. Of course, Undertaker wasn't at WrestleMania 10, so I don't know why he'd even be on the cover here, but Bret, Yoko, and Luger make perfect sense for this time period for that. And April 94, we get WrestleMania, the Perfect 10 in New York City. There it is. We got Bret Hart, Lex Luger, and Yokozuna on the cover. Yokozuna would go on to wrestle Lex Luger in the first title match, and Bret had to wrestle Owen to even it out, and then Bret would wrestle Yoko in the main event, where Yokozuna went for the bonsai drop and lost his footing, fell off the ropes, knocked himself out, and Bret got the win when Roddy Piper counted to 3. May 1994 for the wrestler. It is how the Royal Rumble shook up WrestleMania. So it's talking about the Rumble. We got Bret and Luger at the bottom there, both winners. Like I said before, I still think it was Vince McMahon's way to decide who was going to be the champion. I think Vince still wanted Lex Luger to be champ, but the fans were so much saying Bret Hart, Bret's the man, put the title on Bret. Inside Wrestling, May 94. We get it here again. Lex Luger, Bret Hart, their greatest triumphs, their greatest tragedies. Bret the champion in this photo. This, of course, being from that's photos from his first title reign. And Lex there, that's a WCW photo of Lex. So there it is, though. So they're hyping that, too. And here it is. We got June of 94. Hart captures the gold. Bret Hart is the WWF champion once again, winning it at WrestleMania 10, like I said. And he was now set to work a program with his brother Owen for the next, 5 months, 6 months. And here we have a nice spotlight of Bret again with the WWF title. Bret Hitman Hart, an all-new tribute to the excellence of execution. So that's sweet to see. Recognition to the Hitman by the WWF, showing that they're fully behind Bret now as champion. July 94 for Inside Wrestling. A look into wrestling's future. WWF World Champ Bret Hart, wrestling physique of the future. So I guess that means that's what wrestlers will look like. I really don't know what they mean by that, but there's the Hitman, though. The Pro Wrestling Illustrated, August 94. Bret Hart, a champion again. There it is. WrestleMania 10, the real winners and losers. So the Hitman had done it again. The champion of the World Wrestling Federation. For the wrestler of August 94, we got Bret's Nightmare Team becomes a reality. Owen Hart and Yokozuna. That didn't really happen until 1995 when Owen had Yoko as his mystery partner at WrestleMania 11 to defeat the Smoking Guns for the tag titles. But I really don't know why they thought in 94 they were. I don't remember them even tagging in 94, I don't think, together. Oh, well. September 94 for the wrestler. We get the WWF Mid-Year Report. Again, Bret Hart, wrestler of the half year. There he is with the WWF Championship. So, front and center, the man of the WWF, the face of the new generation, Bret Hitman Hart. For Pro Wrestling Illustrated, this is October 94. We get Wrestling's All-Stars Challenge the World. We have Sting, we have Razor Ramon, we have Brian Pillman, and yes, we have Bret Hitman Hart. We're the best athletes in sports. Well, that's pretty dead on though. Those are 4 top stars, I would say, so that's not too bad. I will agree with that. For November 94, we get Caged in the exclusive SummerSlam results in Chi-Town. It's the WWF magazine. It's Bret having Owen and the sharpshooter inside the cage. So Owen crowned champ. Venom's got the proof. Yes, Owen Hart did beat Bret Hart for the WWF title. I saw it on a Coliseum video, but another referee came down, reversed the decision. The match continued. But yes, I guess if you're an Owen Hart fan, you'll say unofficially Owen was champion, even if it was for a few minutes. In a special magazine called Caged, Volume 1 by the WWF, we get Bret and Owen in the cage from SummerSlam, highlighting the cover here. That cage match was interesting, right? It's not like they used the cage as a weapon to hurt each other. They kind of used the cage as a reason, like, not to have the family get involved. It was an interesting sort of match. November 94 for the wrestler. It may have Hogan on the cover here, but at the top we get Bret or Owen, which Hart beats stronger. So Bret and Owen, that feud, that match still going on here on the magazines. Sports Review Wrestling, November 94. From worst to first, is Diesel embarrassing the WWF with success? There he is choking the Hitman. That match right there, for Diesel and Bret Hart, is actually from Coliseum videotape. It would be WrestleFest 94, I believe. So I'm pretty sure that's not from King of the Ring, because I don't think Bret wore those tights at King of the Ring. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that might be WrestleFest 94. Because it's hard to say. I mean, they wrestled each other twice that year. And I know one was on a Coliseum video to see how they would work together. But I don't think that's King of the Ring. I could be wrong, but it doesn't look like it to me. But, oh well, we'll see. I could be wrong on that one, right? PWI, December 94. Again, it's PWI 500. We got Bret Hart on the left, Hulk Hogan on the right. The top WWF star, the top WCW star fighting off against each other there on the cover. So it's good to see Bret still making that magazine cover. Inside Wrestling, December 94. We got Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan as the main one, but up here again. A psychologist analyzes the Hart feud. It's all Bret's fault. So it's all Bret's fault that Owen turned heel and attacked Bret. Apparently. For Winter 94 for Inside Wrestling, we have Wrestler of the Half Decade, the WWF Champion, Bret Hitman Hart. There it is right there on the cover. The Hitman looking good with the title belt as always. So Bret as the half wrestler, Wrestler of the Half Decade. That's pretty impressive. And of course, a special issue from the 1994 year in review by the WWF. We see the Hitman there with the sharpshooter on the 1-2-3 Kid. That was a match on Monday Night Raw. Actually, I think the match was actually an anniversary either yesterday or the day before. I remember seeing it on Facebook that it was something like it was we reached the anniversary of that match. So the date of it. So yeah, that was a great match though. Anyone who hasn't seen it, go back and watch it on the WWE Network. Bret versus the 1-2-3 Kid for the title was really, really good. And I believe Sean Waltman even said it's like one of his favorite matches of all time. So February 95 for Pro Wrestling Illustrated. It's a lot of WCW stars. At the top here in a small photo, we got exclusive press conference with Bret Hart. Let's see where it's at here. Yeah, there it is. Bret Hart talking here. So yes, there is a press conference with the Hitman in this one in February 95. For March of 95, for the WWF magazine, we get Lonesome Dove the Series. It's High Noon for the Hitman. Exclusive Bret on location. Bret Hart being a movie star here. Lost the title to Mr. Bob Backlund Survivor Series, and Big Daddy Cool Diesel picked up that title a few days later, and Bret was taking time off to help injure the injured left arm he had from the crossface chicken wing. But really, Bret was off doing this television show. Took some time off to enjoy the finer times in Hollywood. And I did quotes with that. I know you didn't see it, but I don't think Lonesome Dove was much of of a well-known show. I mean, it was probably pretty popular, but I doubt people talk about it now in the year 2023. But cool that Bret was on it, right? March 95 for the wrestler. It's a year in pictures. We got Bret and Owen there on the bottom. Bret and Owen's tragedy. So that makes the cover here of the wrestler of 1994. Sports Review, Wrestling, March of 95. It's Bret Hart, a feud with Flair. That's what this the psychic is predicting. That match with Flair did happen in 1998 in WCW, so it was still a whiles away before that was going to happen. Inside Wrestling, April 95. It's the computer tournament. We got the Hitman right there on the cover with Hogan, Vader, Luger, and Diesel. So, again, Bret still one of the top draws for a magazine cover. For the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, June 95. It's the 1995 PWI poll. We see Bret and Owen there. It says, will Bret and Owen reunite in 95? No, they would not. It wouldn't happen until 97 when Bret went heel. Actually, no, it's when the USA went heel. Bret didn't change. The USA fans change, right? That's what Bret will tell you. Let's see, what else do we got? Inside Wrestling, June 95. It may have the Mega Powers on the cover here, but it's got revealed who begged Bret, let Owen beat you. So yeah, still Bret and Owen talking about that even in June 1995. For Wrestling Superstars of summer of 95, we got Sting, Shawn Michaels, and Bret Hart all on the cover there. It's talking about the top 20 stars in professional wrestling, and of course, no doubt that Bret Hart would be one of them. So we got next up the WWF Magazine, August 95. It's Diesel, Alundra Blaze, Razor Ramon, and Bret Hitman Hart enjoying the finer times of summer, being out on the beach and the ocean and whatnot. But there it is. Interesting cover for a magazine there, but oh well. The Wrestler, September 95. It's the WWF Mid-Year Report. It says Bret, another title. Yes, it would happen soon. He would defeat this man down here, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, for that title at Survivor Series 95 coming up. For October 95, for the WWF Magazine, we got Sharpshooting with the Hitman. Bret shoots from the hip in an exclusive candid interview. There's Bret giving a backbreaker to Jean-Pierre Lafitte, who was known for stealing Bret Hart's ring jacket and wearing it for a few weeks. And then Bret got it back. What a ridiculous feud that was while we waited for Bret and Diesel once again. And that would happen here in this WWF Magazine issue, December 95. This time there will be a winner. We see it right there. Bret Hart and Diesel gunning for the WWF Championship. What an amazing magazine cover. This looks so cool. I had this magazine when I was a kid, of course, and I loved it just because I was a big fan of both these guys. And man, very cool cover. Love it. And for 1995, we end that year with the PWI 500. Again, Bret Hart right here in the top corner there with Razor Ramon and Diesel, making the cover once again of a PWI, saying, yes, he is one of the greatest wrestlers in the world for the PWI 500. Now, hold on here, people. I am gonna take a water break. Yes, it is water. No Caesars tonight, folks. Just water. But with that being said, here we go now for part 2. Starting at 1996, we have PWI. It's a full-scale war. We got Diesel, Hogan, Shawn Michaels, Sting, and Bret Hart and Randy Savage at the bottom. So the best of the WWF and the best of WCW, which is better? Hitman and Randy Savage, man, those two. Remember they had a match on Saturday night's main event in 1987, but it wasn't really that good because they kind of worked this ankle injury with Macho Man. I just thought that match kind of lacked because of that. I think if they would have just stuck with a straight wrestling match, it would have been so good. The Wrestler, February 96. Up all night, Bret Hart sees the light in the dark. There's the Hitman diving out on Henry O. Godwin. I'm not too sure when that match took place. That may have been a dark match, maybe a house show. I don't know. I don't remember Bret wrestling Henry Godwinn on TV, but I'm sure maybe he did. I just don't remember it. 4. The WWF Magazine, February 96. What a sweet photo. Best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. Absolutely. We got the new WWF champion, Bret Hitman Hart. Won the title at Survivor Series, defeating Big Daddy Cool Diesel. And we were now on third title reign for Bret Hart in the WWF. For the wrestler, March 96. It's 1995, the year in pictures. And there it is at the bottom. Bret Hart and Diesel. That's from Survivor Series 95. Bret's got him in the figure 4 leg lock there, working on the leg. He did that a lot with Diesel. He knew Diesel was tall, got to work on those legs, get him in the sharpshooter, you know. Smart wrestling, right? That's something that's missing today in professional wrestling, everyone. I think we can all agree on that. March 96 for Inside Wrestling. This is a sweet photo. Look at that. His Excellency, how Bret masterminded Diesel's execution. There he is, a new champ. There's, again, a clip from that match from Survivor Series there, that photo. Look at that. That's a really good picture, actually. That's a nice magazine cover for Inside Wrestling. That, of course, is March 96, if anyone wants to look for that to add to their collection. Spring of 96 for Wrestle America. We get a joint WCW WWF Supercard. Almost a done deal. There it is. The WWF champion, Bret Hart. The WCW champion, Randy Macho Man Savage. On the cover here. Man, again, I was just talking about those two in the match. It's a shame we never got to see them work again as time went on, right? I think they would have still had some great matches, great moments. For April 96 for PWI, it may talk about Hogan, but at the top here it says, who's better, Shawn or Bret? So here we go, the Shawn Bret stuff starting now, because WrestleMania is coming up. It's going to be Shawn and Bret in the Iron Man match. And that Shawn and Bret feud is going to last for like 2 years, right? Pretty much. It's crazy. The Wrestler, April 96. It says Diesel blackballed, but it's because of that Survivor Series, right? There he has given Bret the suplex in that match. So Bret made the cover in that small photo with Big D because of that Survivor Series match. The Wrestler, May 96. It's Vader. You know, can Bret, Shawn, or Razor play the pain game? There's Bret down. Right there, Shawn and Razor down. Bret did wrestle Vader a few times in the WWF. They were okay matches. I just felt like they didn't, I don't know, like Bret usually has good matches to everyone, but I did not care for the Bret Vader matches. I don't know why. I think it's just this change. The style didn't click or something. I'm not too sure. July 96 for the WWF Magazine. The big picture is the Warrior, but the little photo up here is a son interviews his father. Dallas talks with Bret. So that is on that cover there. Inside Wrestling for December 96. It has the women of the Four Horsemen as the main one, but up here it says Bret gets offer from Jim Cornette, because at the time Jim Cornette was feuding with Shawn Michaels. He had Bulldog and Owen going, and Vader even going after Shawn. I guess Jimmy Cornette felt if he had the Hitman too, that would be pretty solid. December 96. For the WWF Magazine, we got Sid on the cover. We got the Hitman, the truth behind Bret's return. Of course, Bret returned at Survivor Series 96 to wrestle Stone Cold Steve Austin. And here's the 1996 Wrestling Annual. There's the Hitman right there beside Shawn Michaels. And still, you know, showing that Bret's still one of the main guys in the WWF, deserves to be on the cover of this special magazine. Now we go into 1997. And this is when the Hitman's career starts to take a turn now, doesn't it? You know, he's no longer the respected fan favorite. He is to Canadians, he is to the Europeans, he is to the Asians and you know, the Italians and everywhere else all around the world, but not to the Americans. And that will be coming up in this year. January 97, we get who the NWO would love to have on their roster, and of course Bret Hart there. No surprise that they'd want him on there. They also want the Ultimate Warrior and Sabu as well, but yes, Bret Hart, no surprise that they'd want him part of the NWO, which would take place eventually, right? January, February 97 for the Raw magazine. I've showed this before. It's Bret and Shawn. Is Planet WWF big enough for both? We would soon find out in the next 10 months it is not. Unfortunately, it is not. The Wrestler for February 97. Wrestling's top stars. What 1997 has in store for them, but where's Bret? Oh, he's up here. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels is a waste of human flesh. So there it is. The Bret Shawn stuff really starting to heat up here now. And it would continue on. Inside Wrestling, February 97. NWO, the main cover would up here. Who's more popular, Shawn or Bret? For me at the time, I would have picked Shawn. I was a Shawn fan more than a Bret one going into 97. I don't know. I just like Shawn more. I don't know why. I loved Bret in like 92, 93, 94 and whatnot, but yeah, I ended up becoming a Diesel and Shawn guy as time went on. March 97 for Inside Wrestling. Why Bret's execution will be excellent by WrestleMania. There he is going after Jerry the King Lawler. And that was a very old photo. That's going to be from 1995, probably, that photo. Or maybe even 93, but it looks like 95, I would say, with what he's wearing. The Wrestler. April 97, the main thing is Sting, but up top here we got 10 former champs picked the winner between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. For the WWF Magazine, April 97, it's the WrestleMania 13 hype. We got Undertaker, we got Sid, we got Bret and Shawn right there. So Bret, of course, would end up wrestling Stone Cold Steve Austin at that one, and not the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, which was apparently supposed to be the match, that show. For May of 97, for PWI, we got March Madness. You're an embarrassment, says Bret. You're old news, says Shawn. So, again, the hyping this feud between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, it would be a continuous theme in 1997. The Wrestler, May 97. At the top here, Shawn, Bret, one of them must leave the WWF. Well, yeah, one of them must, and just give it time. Wrestling magazines, give it time. Wait till November, jeez. May 97 for the WWF Magazine, we got the Bart Foundation. Bret teams with Springfield's favorite son. There it is, Bret Hitman Hart, and I guess Bart Hitman Simpson. I don't know, but man, very cool. That's a cool magazine cover. And used to go, this went for big money at one time on eBay. Probably because of Bart being on the cover with Bret, but June 97 for the Wrestler. Sid brutalizes Bret. Hey, Shawn, this one's for you. Of course, December 1996, in your house, Sid beat Bret to retain the title, and then he'd go on in early 1997 to beat Bret Hart for the WWF Championship on Monday Night Raw the night after Bret won it at the February in your house. Supercards 97 for PWI. We get Stone Cold Steve Austin, a bloodied Stone Cold Steve Austin, choking out Bret Hart with a cable cord there while Ken Shamrock looks on. So now we're into this. This is the match right there where Bret ended up flipping sides with Steve. The fans took to Steve 100%, and Bret was booed big time. And Inside Wrestling, August 97, Bret Hart pretty much sums it up. Bret Hart lashes out, "You're all responsible for what I'm about to do." And of course, that being, reforming the Hart Foundation with the British Bulldog, with Owen Hart. He brought in Brian Pillman. He brought back Jim the Anvil Neidhart. So what a great group that was, right? Such a fun time. For, what is this? July, August 97 as well. There it is. The truth behind the Hart reunion. Was it a scam from the start? So there it is. All 5 of them. Lots of gold, lots of slammies. Everything that you could ask for in a group. These 5 gave it to us. This was the bloodline, the original bloodline, right before Roman Reigns and the Usos and Solo Sikoa and Sami Zayn. This is what the bloodline was. The Canadian bloodline. For what's this? August 97 for the WWF Magazine, Heart and Soul. Bret and Undertaker hyping SummerSlam 97, their title match they're going to be having. Of course, Shawn Michaels will be the special guest referee, costing Undertaker the title and giving Bret the win, giving him the championship. The Wrestler for September 97. It has a lot of the great stars on there, including Bret. It says Bret, bitter and spiteful. And it says Austin, reluctant hero. Owen, 1-1 for Bret. So there it is. They're all, Owen and Bret are back together. Austin's the good guy. The Harts are the bad guys. What a time to be alive in 1997, watching that. The Wrestler, October 97. How low will Shawn and Bret go? An ugly feud gets uglier. That's when Shawn Michaels super kicked Bret Hart out of the chair. That, of course, I believe happened after Monday Night Raw went off the air because they were running too long. Bret was talking too long and such. And Shawn thought Bret did that on purpose and got angry at him for that. And, well, man, what an ugly, ugly feud that turned out to be for real between those two. WWF Raw, I showed this magazine just yesterday, but I'll show it here again. This is it. Bret Hart right there and the Patriot. It's Team Canada versus Team USA. Of course, I was a Bret Hart fan for sure. I love the Hart Foundation. When Bret formed the Hart Foundation and did that, I was 100% behind Bret then. How could I not be, right? Canada. Being a fellow Canadian, I kind of had to be. December 97, this is a sweet cover too. We got Owen Hart, British Bulldog, Bret Hart, and Diana Hart-Smith. That's in that One Night Only show over in England where Bulldog lost the European title to Shawn Michaels. Just a cool looking cover though. This is the alternative cover too, like I said. In the States, the one has Steve Austin on the cover of that one. The Wrestler for November 97 has Bret and Shawn. Their message to the WWF: make Bret and Shawn wrestle or dump both. They were wrestling in 1997 early on. They were wrestling at house shows and dark matches and whatnot, but never on TV. So they were wrestling. You just had to be at the show to see it. The Wrestler, Holiday 97. First Owen, then Taker, then Hogan. I mean, what is this talking about? Who's going to go next? I guess it's talking about titles, guys were losing belts left and right. The Hitman, of course, won the title. At SummerSlam, that's the match right there. Bret Hart, then a 5-time WWF champion. For the PWI Holiday 97, we got the PWI 500 again. There's Bret Hart with the WWF title as one of the top stars that year, of course. But look at all those guys there: Austin, Shawn, Nash, Taz, Malenko, DDP. Bunch of studs there back in that era, right? All stars, athletes, main eventers, and there they all are. Bret, but holding the title out of all of them. Bret's got the title on the cover. So Bret loved that belt. Let's be honest. Up next, we got PWI 1997, the year in wrestling. We got Bret Hart on the cover there. Really happy. He won Most Hated Wrestler of the Year. He took that award on honor there. He got that. So Bret proud of himself, no doubt. Let's see if there's a photo in here of Bret with the award. Yes, there it is. The Hitman with that award. And he also, it looks like, won Match of the Year from WrestleMania 13. So Bret with 2 awards that year from Pro Wrestling Illustrated. The Wrestler, March 98, we got the 1997 year in pictures. There's Bret made WWF Fret. That's right, Bret was the heel, the villain then. Making things change in the WWF, right? 1997 was such a crazy year for that federation, thanks to the Hart Foundation. March 98 for Inside Wrestling, heart transplant. The truth behind Bret Hart's defection to WCW. Why did Bret really leave the WWF? Was Vince McMahon telling the truth on Raw? Was Bret justified in slugging McMahon? Was signing Bret a smart move by WCW? So there he is now. Bret Hart is now in World Championship Wrestling. And this is the first magazine now to cover it, to say it. So there it is. March 1998. Inside Wrestling, April 98. We got the computer tournament. We got Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels there on the cover. Again, this feud will never end, not even in computer internet form, right? They still are going at it thanks to the magazines. The Wrestler, May 98. We have Mercy Killing in Larryland, how Bret's KO saved Bischoff. That's, of course, Bret Hart was the referee for the Eric Bischoff Larry Zbyszko match at Starrcade 97. What a horrible way to use Bret Hart in the company at that time. You bring the guy in, and that's what you do? Ugh, no wonder WCW did bad there, right? They were just making some horrible mistakes. Wrestle America, June 98. At the top here, it's how Bret exposed the heart of Lex Luger. Bret, of course, was a villain in WCW now, going after Lex Luger. They exchanged the United States heavyweight title back and forth. Bret did that a lot. He was wrestling Sting, Diamond Dallas Page, Luger. The U.S. title was like Bret's major title in 1998 for WCW. October 98, Bret screws Bret Part 2. He'll never get his shot at Hogan. He's vindicated Vince. He's double-crossed his family. He's at war with the fans again. So, there it is again. Bret screwing everyone, apparently, still. Inside Wrestling, October 98, it's the WCW Mid-Year Report. We got Bret Hart despised again at the bottom there. So the Hitman back to being a villain, a bad guy. And, WCW fans did not take to the Hitman like he thought they would. And that could be because of the booking of the Hitman, too, how they booked him. It was pretty sloppy. September 99 for PWI. Bret Hart at the top here. Bret Hart, is a WWF return still possible? It would be in the year 2010. So it took a little while for Bret to be back in a ring wrestling for the WWF. Of course, it would be WWE then in 2010. And for Inside Wrestling, February 2000, this is the last time you'll see Bret on the cover that I know of for a while. It's Bret Hart Wrestling Top Stars was headed for 2000. Bret retirement. Unfortunately, yes, thanks to this man down here, Goldberg kicking Bret in the head and giving him the concussion syndrome and pretty much ending his wrestling career. That's it. That's Bret Hitman Hart right there from 1991 through 2000. His solo run with a small dosage of a group with his family in 1997, but it's pretty much it was a solo run, right? I didn't show any early Hart Foundation stuff. I'm sure I do have some on the magazines, the older ones, but I wanted just to show Bret on his own. I like the Hart Foundation, Bret and Jim, but even back then, I think I was more of a Demolition guy. I don't think I really got into Bret until until 1990. I guess I liked the Hart Foundation, because then I started disliking Demolition. When Hart Foundation won the tag belts at SummerSlam from Smash and Crush, not Axe and Smash, I became a fan of the Hart Foundation. I just started really digging Bret more then, and all the way until like 95 when I became a fan of Big Daddy Cool Diesel for the that year. And Bret kind of became like my number 3 on the list. It went like Diesel, Shawn, Bret. Where in 94 it was Bret, Bret, Shawn, Diesel. So but I always liked Bret no matter what. He may not have been like the top guy that one year for me, but he was always in my top 5. Even in his horrible WCW run, I still liked Bret. I was a fan when he won the title from Chris Benoit at Mayhem pay-per-view in Toronto, and it was cool to see that, and it was just cool to see Bret finally get back a world title after it got stolen from him in the WWF. Of course, it got stolen from him again thanks to Goldberg kicking him in the head, but well, it is what it is. But here it is, the Bret Hart video. I hope everyone enjoys it and enjoyed it and whatnot. I hope you leave a comment and like and subscribe. I think I'm up to like 90 subscribers now, which is like crazy. So thank you so much for following and watching these videos. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope this video was, and this is so nerdy, what a way to end it. I hope this video was the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.